branding.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm meteorologist Tim Pandajis here at the KHOU 11 Weather Center. I want to cut in this afternoon here at 2:43 to let you know that we have a tornado warning that was just issued for portions of Brazoria, Fort Bend, Galveston, and Harris County. Now, there's a lot going on this map here, so let me get a quick zoom in here and show you exactly where that tornado warning polygon currently is. I mean, we're talking here the far northern portions of Brazoria. You can see it here, Manville area. We've got Alvin. It's just north of you, Alvin, but it does include Friendswood. So it is moving off to the northeast at around 35 miles per hour. This is up until around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So it's not a very long duration tornado warning. And let me show you the velocity or the spin signature that we're looking for here. Now, typically, we're looking for an area in here that's a little bit more tightened up. This looks to be a little bit of a more broad rotation, but it is right over the Manville area, and you can see where winds are changing direction, something we call wind shear. When you see the reds and you see the greens there, that's indicative of spin in the overall atmosphere. So red is moving away from the radar site out by Iowa Colony, where you've got the green shading. That's winds heading towards the radar site, and this is out in League City. So we're seeing this spin here, this change in wind direction right over the Iowa Colony area, Manville area, where winds are getting quite gusty. In fact, let's put some numbers on here for you to show you some of these wind speeds. Again, we're pretty far from the radar site, so it's not giving us very impressive wind speeds at the moment, but the area of concern really is going to be right in this particular area here between Iowa Colony and Manville area, where we're getting that shift in wind direction and wind speeds that's going to give us that spin, that couplet in the atmosphere in a rotating thunderstorm that could potentially be putting down a tornado. There is nothing confirmed. This is radar indicated, so there's no ground confirmation of this at the current time, but it is certainly a possibility with the way that this storm has been acting. Now, check it out without any lightning on it. It's a very potent cell. Very heavy rain, so anything that is trying to drop to the ground is going to be something called rain wrapped, meaning visibility of it would be very, very low. There is some lightning out ahead of the main line there, and out in this area here by Manville is looking at what we're looking at in terms of the spin developing from this overall cell. Well south of Brookside Village, you're not included in that, south of Fresno, and it's really just on the far little tip here of Fort Bend, which really, you're out of the woods here, out of the Jolliffe area, Siena. I don't think you're going to see any problems here. It's really where we're looking at this spin signature right over the Manville area. So that's what we're trying to see if it's going to actually tighten up a little bit and potentially put down a funnel cloud or a tornado. So if you are in this area, if you are tuning in now, you're getting the alerts on your phone. Here's the exact verbiage on this warning for Fort Bend area, portions of Harris County. Let's put it up here for you. This is up for about another 14 minutes. Brazoria, Fort Bend, Galveston, and Harris. Now, it does encompass about a population of 120,000, so a well-populated area. It is heading in the direction of Friendswood. Let's put a storm track on it here for you and give you a better feel. If you're in the line of fire of this, is moving at around 35 miles per hour off to the north and east. And let's put it right in the Manville area towards Friendswood. Now, if you live in any of these areas like Wolf Air Park, 251, you got a lead time about 4 minutes. Pearland Regional about the top of the hour. Again, that's past when the actual tornado warning expires. This is up until 3 o'clock, but if this does consolidate, tighten up a little bit, we'll likely see it get extended. Friendswood area up until around 3:06 this afternoon. So if you're in these areas, go to an interior room. I know we're getting close to that time that you may be sitting down and getting ready to have your Thanksgiving dinner. If you're getting these alerts on your phone, just go to an interior room away from windows. Put the dinner to the side for just a couple minutes until this passes. Again, right in this area, Wolf Air Park area, Pearland Regional. It's heading in your general direction. Again, nothing has been confirmed. This is radar indicated in terms of a potential tornado, but it is enough to warrant a warning. This is the area we're really watching here. Iowa Colony, I think you're out of the woods there. It seems like this couplet is now pushed to your east. It is now just due north of the Manville area and heading in this general direction off to the east, gradually northeast as well. The overall polygon is rather large for the area that is actually going to be impacted. Looking at just north of the Manville area there, of seeing some potential tornadic activity if in fact this does pull it down. Well, let me take a look and see what the Weather Service has just said. Radar indicated hail up to 3/4 of an inch. Brazoria, Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris until 3 o'clock. So they're saying a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado located over southwest Manville, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So we put that storm track on it there for you, moving it off to the Manville area. Let's put it back on here and see if it's changed at all. Up towards Hastings, Friendswood, south of Pearland. Friendswood around 307 now, so that did change a little bit. Still got plenty of lead time, over a 20-minute lead time in the Friendswood area, if in fact this does stay together. So here's an update. Let me clear this off. Every now and then we get an update from the radar signature giving us a gauge of the wind speed and wind direction. And it does show that it's looking a little more ragged looking in terms of the overall rotational signature here. If you're just tuning on in and you got the alert on your phone, this is up until 3 o'clock, so we're going to be with you for about another 11 minutes until this warning does dissipate or expire or even gets extended if in fact we see it tighten on up. The concern here is going to be the shifting wind direction, a rotation and overall severe thunderstorm that could be capable of producing a tornado. Nothing has been confirmed, no ground confirmation. If in fact there was one on the ground, it would be awfully hard to see. We've got rainfall rates in this cell 1 to 2 to 3 inches per hour, and that is blinding. So if you're in this area, you're likely hearing that heavy rain. There is some thunder and lightning in here, but it's really heavy downpours, and a rain-wrapped potential tornado is there. Again, nothing has been confirmed on the ground so far. I'm going to keep putting storm tracks on it here for you. If you're in the Manville area, it is heading out of your area. 35 miles per hour, so moving at a pretty good clip. But Hastings, 302, just after the top of the hour. Friendswood still zoning in on that 306 to 308 time frame if it holds together. Again, this is a very broad rotational signature here. We're not seeing a real couplet shaping on up. It would really be obvious to see a couplet shaping on up here. We'd have bright greens right next to bright reds, and it would look like there would be a signature here. This is very broad and elongated for this potential area, but nonetheless, there is a tornado warning on it for about another 10 minutes until 3 o'clock at the top of the hour for Brazoria. Fort Bend, I mean, this is the far southeastern tip of Brazoria. I mean, we're talking up here and you're just clipped out of it, and this is the signature here, so I don't think you're under the gun. If you're watching from Fort Bend, I think you're out in the clear for right now. But Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris, portions of Brazoria, and there's another update here. This is a little bit interesting. Now we're starting to see it kind of get a little bit more of a definition. So now we've got the greens. Again, this is winds heading towards the radar site. Reds indicate that the winds are heading away. So when we get those kind of showing up together like this, like we're seeing a signature here just to the north of the Manville area, that could potentially be the beginning stages of a funnel cloud taking shape and potentially a tornado making its way all the way to the ground. So that's going to be the area we're really going to watch. I'm going to put a track exactly on that. It is still moving at 35 miles per hour. So here it goes off to the north of Manville, Hastings, Friendswood area. If you live near Westwood Elementary School, 307 this afternoon. Pearland Junior High South and Robert Turner High School. If you live near those schools at the top of the hour, so you got about a 9-minute lead time. If in fact this couplet continues to tighten on up and we see it hold together and head in your general direction. Wolf Air Park, you got 2 minutes until it's knocking on your doorstep. Hastings at 3:03. Not so much concerned with any hail here. Okay, here's an update from the Hurricane Center, the National Weather Service. They have skimmed it back a little bit, now no longer including Fort Bend County. We talked about how it was just including the far southeastern tip of there, no longer including Fort Bend. Brazoria, Galveston, and Harris still for another 8 minutes until we get to the top of the hour at 3 o'clock. So this is the area of concern right on the back edge, the far southwestern corner of this polygon, where we're seeing the change in wind direction and wind speed with heights. That's indicative of the storm itself beginning to rotate, trying to narrow that rotation, maybe down to the ground in terms of a ground-confirmed tornado. Nothing confirmed at this current time, though. It is radar indicated. Let me put another storm track on it for you here. Actually, let's get a closer look. It's north of the Manville area, and north of there, you notice that we're not seeing any other towns pop on up, not much in the way of roadways either. In fact, this way, we're looking at Route 6. So just north of Route 6 would be the main center of that rotation near the Manville area. Notice it is getting a little bit tighter. Again, if you're watching, this is the area that we're kind of concerned with here. It's going to be this area here. Let's pull that back out. It's going to be this area right here, where you see the reds and the greens kind of next to each other, showing that general broad rotation there. And it is lifting away from Route 6, heading off to the north and east at around 35 miles per hour there. Again, this is up for about another 7 minutes, so we're going to stay with you until it does expire. But it's a very ragged looking, very broad overall rotation, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that we see this funnel cloud potentially reach down to the ground. And check this out here as I just switch it back over to radar. There's a ton of rain associated with this. These rainfall rates in this cell are 2.5, close to 3 inches per hour. So blinding. So if there is, in fact, anything residing in this particular part of this severe thunderstorm cell, it would be rotating in this area north of Manville, north of Route 6, and heading in the direction towards Hastings and eventually towards Friendswood as well. We had the timing on there for Friendswood area. If you're tuning in from there, just getting ready to sit down for Thanksgiving dinner. I know mid-afternoon, people eat at all different times on Thanksgiving, but if you're in that direction, you've got a lead time of about 15 minutes. We were looking at around 3:08 if this holds together, making it towards you at a northeast pace at 35 miles per hour. Let's go back over to the velocities and show if we're seeing any updates from the radar. And still, it's much broader than it just was just a couple minutes ago. We were looking at an area here that was a little tighter. Now it's spread out a little bit. It's a little bit more elongated, as well with its parent wind change in speed away from the radar site and towards it. We're seeing it stretched out a little bit more. So that's a good sign right there. If we see that as a general trend, that's going to be some good news there. But I am watching also this right over Route 6. So this is Route 6 right here, Manville just south of there. We've got another little couplet kind of trying to pinch off just south of there, still moving in the same general direction. If there is something there, it will be moving over Route 6 at the current time. Radar data is lagged by just a couple of minutes, but if that's another little couplet trying to pinch off, that could be something to watch there. But overall, you can see the size of this tornado warning polygon. It does include all the way out to Friendswood. No longer includes Fort Bend. We're talking Brazoria, southern portions of Harris County, and over into Galveston County as well, headed towards the Friendswood area here through Brazoria within the next couple of minutes. So we're watching that closely here. This overall pocket of spin, I'm not seeing any sort of signatures of it being. Let's switch up another radar tool here. This would kind of tell us if there's anything, if there was a ground confirmed tornado and it was lofting debris in the air, even something as small and light as leafy material from trees, some small tree branches, we'd be able to kind of see a signature here. And there is arguably a little bit of something potentially that's other than rain, although this could also be just saturated by the heavy rainfall that's going on there. But this could be potentially some debris getting lofted. This doesn't look very intense or indicative of it being that to me. But Manville area now, you're starting to see the back edge of it move on through. Should be in the clear right now, but we've overall got that little couplet here. I mean, look at the newest update. Not too bad north of Manville, but it's really this area now that is heading towards the Hastings area north of there. This is going to be a long 35. It's now just to the east of you, just to the west of you there, and it is going to generally be moving to the north and east. So let's put another storm track on this exact cell. Let's pinpoint it right here, moving over 35 to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Pearland Stadium at the top of the hour within 4 minutes or so. If you live near Weber Elementary School, Bethany Assembly of God Church, if you live in those general areas, just to the north and northwest of Friendswood, this would be where this couplet is trying to advance in your direction at a pretty good clip. So you've got a lead time of about 10 minutes if you live near Weber Elementary School. So keep that in mind. If you are in this area, if you're getting the alerts on your phone, there was just an updated to this tornado warning. It likely sent out a separate alert to your phone. Go to an interior room. I know if you got family gathering right now with you, take everybody into that interior room away from any windows. If it's starting to get windy outside, if you're getting this alert and you're in this warning polygon, situation is crucial right now for you to pay attention to what's going on. It's this particular couplet here that is looking a little bit more intense in the last couple of sweeps from our radar site. This is 35 here, Hastings to Pearland, and it is moving to the northeast at around 35 miles per hour. At this this pace, it'll move just to the north of Friendswood if it holds together, if it tightens on up with that general overall rotation. I'm going to check real quick. You probably heard that ping there if there was an update. Okay, it looks like they're going to let the tornado warning expire at 3 o'clock. So in 2 minutes, they are going to let this tornado warning go ahead and expire and no longer be in effect. So that is some good news, meaning they're looking at radar trends as well that indicate to them at the National Weather Service that this is no longer a building threat and will be allowed to expire, no longer likely being able to produce a tornado that would be touching the ground. So again, this is 35 here. We're looking south of Pearland, heading towards Hastings and Friendswood. This is the couplet we've been watching. This is what spawned the tornado warning. We're seeing winds veering with direction with height. We get that possibility of a tornado being put down in some very heavy rain squalls in this area as well. Here's how radar actually looks. I mean, very, very heavy rain. And notice in this cell, in the tornado warning itself, there is no lightning being indicated by radar. So it's just very intense, heavy rain, 1 to 2 inch an hour rainfall rates. And our concern here, as this was moving towards 35 and off to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, is that if anything was trying to get its act together, it would be rain wrapped, visibility would be very low, and it would be hard to identify and give ground confirmation to. So that's what we're going to really keep our eye on here as we go forward in time. And there's an update for you on the velocity signature. So our rotation detector that was keeping an eye on this couplet here. The red is wind indicated by radar, which is out here in League City. Is going to be winds that are moving away from the radar site. Greens are going to be moving towards. So when you're getting that couplet there, that's a quick little tight rotation. The overall cell itself is rotating. But that would be allowing it to maybe reach the ground. You can see there's no longer a polygon on this screen here. That means that the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. The threat has passed. We will watch this cell closely going through the remainder of the evening, as well as everything else that's going on across the area. Our main concern still going forward is going to be for some flooding downpours. Flash flood watches up for the majority of the area through this evening. We'll be with you coming up on KHOU 11 News at 6 and at 10. If I don't see you before then for any other warnings, enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving.
Today